Today I'm going to be sharing with you 2 meal prep ideas, so stick around. Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN and I eat a plant-based diet with a focus on protein. I did the starch solution for many years and discovered that I needed more protein than that as I went through menopause, and now I am postmenopausal and I feel so much better. I'm eating more protein and I'm lifting weights. As I mentioned in the intro, I will be sharing with you 2 meal prep ideas. Now, I don't normally do meal prep. I like to do food prep where I make components of different items and then I can throw them together. But I've had some requests. People want to see how I put things together. So I'm going to be showing you a breakfast recipe, and I'll also be showing you a recipe that can be either for lunch or dinner. And this is only going to be a 3-day prep. I usually only prep for 3 or 4 days, and then if I want to repeat it, I will, or I can do other things. But this is just going to give you an idea of a couple of recipes that are really easy. They're all going to be under 500 calories, and one I believe is 28 grams of protein and the other one I think is 31. The full recipes will be in the description box along with the macros, and please check out everything else in my description box. I have a lot of discount codes down there. There's a link to my Facebook group and also my cookbook and my online course, and my Amazon storefronts down there as well. The breakfast option will be a carrot cake overnight oats. Really simple, and I love overnight oats because you can just have everything ready. You open the refrigerator, there's breakfast ready for you to go. You make it the night before, or in this case we're making 3 days worth, so you're good for 3 days. And the other recipe is going to be loaded taco sweet potatoes. And I love this version. Sweet potatoes are so good for you. They're so high in vitamin A and fiber and all kinds of good stuff, and they're delicious as well. So let's get started, and we're going to start by getting those sweet potatoes into the oven, because you always want to start with the item that's going to take the longest to cook. That way you're not here forever. All right, let's go. Now, since we're making the tacos for 3 days worth, I've got 3 sweet potatoes, and I love the Japanese sweet potatoes. These are the Murasaki sweet potatoes. I get these at Trader Joe's, but most supermarkets carry Japanese sweet potatoes. If not, if you have an Asian market in your area, they will have them. And I've got the oven preheated to 400, and what I like to do, I learned this from Chef AJ, I just cut the ends off, and then that's going to let the steam off so you don't have to poke it with a fork. And then I'm just going to put them on this lined baking sheet, and these are going to go for 45 minutes or so. So we'll get these in the oven first, and then I'll work on the other recipe plus the filling for these sweet potato tacos. All right, so we're going to start with our overnight oats, and what you want is 3 containers here with a good lid. If you want to use mason jars, you can. I just prefer to eat my oatmeal out of a bowl, so that's just my personal choice. You can do whatever works for you. All right, so we can't have overnight oats without oats. So we're gonna put a half a cup in each bowl. Now, since these are carrot cake oats, we're gonna have to have carrots, of course. So I just put a couple of tablespoons in each bowl. And this was basically like 1 carrot. And you don't have to be super exact, a little bit more, a little bit less, that's okay. And if you have any left over, just throw it in your salad. Then I'm going to add a tablespoon of hemp hearts to each one. Hemp hearts are great to get your omega-3s and 6s in. Gives you a little bit of protein, and they just taste good. Then we're going to throw in some ground flaxseed, a tablespoon each. And if you like chia seeds better, then you could add chia seeds. Then we're going to add a little bit of cinnamon to each one. I prefer Ceylon cinnamon, but you can use whatever cinnamon you like. And so we're just going to do about a 1/4 teaspoon. If you want more, that's fine. You could add a little bit more. I mean, cinnamon doesn't really have any calories per se, so all good. Then we're going to use the same amount of some vanilla powder. If you have vanilla extract, then use a half a teaspoon, but I love vanilla powder. It's got such a better flavor. So just a quarter teaspoon in each one. And then to bump up the protein even more, I'm going to use my Earth Chimp Vanilla protein powder. And that way it adds a little sweetness. So 1 scoop of this protein powder in each bowl. And at this point, I like to stir all the ingredients, get them all combined. So I'm just using some plain unsweetened soy milk. I'm putting 2/3 cup in each bowl. Then we're going to snap on the lids and put them in the fridge. Boom. 3 days worth of breakfast right there. Then in the morning, I'm going to add a half a banana to each one. And I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of my homemade Greek yogurt. If you don't make your own yogurt, Kaido's got a good one and it's high in protein, and this is high in protein as well. So I just add about a 1/4 cup on top of my oatmeal. Okay, these are going to go in the fridge, and then let's start working on our filling for the sweet potatoes. So to start making the filling for our sweet potato tacos, we're going to use a non-stick skillet. I've got a little bit of water in there, and then I'm going to add a cup of onions. And we're just going to saute this until they get soft. And I'm on medium heat. Then I'm going to add in, along with that, about a tablespoon of garlic. If you don't like this much garlic, then use less. Now remember, this is going to be divided up between the 3 sweet potatoes. All right, we'll let these go, and then I will show you the next step. And I did soak some TVP here, which is textured vegetable protein. This is going to be our protein for this recipe, and it's just basically soy. And because I'm gluten-free, I need to use TVP. Otherwise, you could use seitan if you have no problems with wheat, and it will give it more protein, but this is what I'm working with today. So I just added some hot water to that and let it like rehydrate. Now we're going to add in the TVP. Along with about 3 tablespoons of this Siete mild taco seasoning. Use whatever kind of taco seasoning you would like. And then a little water to get it going. And one more thing I like to add, this is optional, I just think it adds another layer of flavor. It's just a little bit of tomato paste and a little bit more water. It just gives it a richer flavor. So about a tablespoon. So I like to put them in their containers. I cut them open and kind of mush them with a fork a little bit to open them up. And then I'm just going to put the taco mixture, I'm going to divide it as evenly as I can between the 3 potatoes. Now once we do that, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of black beans to each one. And then we're gonna add some chopped tomato. Again, just divide them evenly among the 3 bowls here. As you can see, these are just nice big portions. And this is all under 500 calories. A little lettuce, of course. And then just go ahead and add a little bit of salsa. This is just jarred salsa. And if you want to add this after you've, heated them up, that's fine. But I don't really care. You want to do a little lime juice over the top, just for other nice little brightness. And then just a little bit of cilantro. And you can add whatever else you want, or leave off what you don't like. Just make it your own. All right, I'm not going to put the lids on because it's still hot, but here you've got 3 lunches or 3 dinners. Perfect. So I hope you enjoyed this little mini 3-day meal prep and gave you some ideas. And to be honest, these recipes were inspired by something I saw on the Vegan Gyms YouTube channel. I get inspiration from other creators. I modify it to be gluten-free and to the things that I like. So you should do the same. There's so many people out there making these great recipes. So let's go over the macros real quick. I've got my paper down here. So for the loaded sweet potato tacos, they are about 400, these are all approximate, 404 calories, carbs 75, fats 2 grams, fiber 20 grams, and protein 27. So that's a pretty good deal there. Then for the overnight oats, the 1 serving is 464 calories, carbs are 54, fats 16, 11 grams of fiber, and 32 grams of protein. So both under 500. I am back on my cut. I took 2 weeks off, as I said in my previous video, so I'm back on. I did up my calories a bit. I'm now at about 1,700 calories because I was starting to lose a little bit of muscle and I wanted to stop that. So that's helped, being at 1,700 calories. And these kind of recipes are great to eat really anytime, but they're, mostly whole foods. Yes, there's some protein powder in the oats, but they're mostly whole foods and a lot of fiber, so they're really good for you and very, very filling. So just doing a little bit of prep can really propel you to success. And if you do it on the beginning of your week, then you've got the first 3 days covered. And if you want, that's what I do. I do about 3 days, and then I will rinse and repeat and do the same thing. So it's not that hard. You get in the habit of doing it, and then you've always got some nutritious, good food for you in the fridge, high protein, low cal, and keep you where you want to be. The full recipes will be in the description box below, along with the macros. These are just approximate because your sweet potatoes may be bigger or smaller, whatever, so just know that it's a general macro. Check out all the other information I have in the description box, and if you like this video, if you learned something, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you've made it this far in the video, please comment below with meal prep, and that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate it. All my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate. Until next time, thank you.